I'm here with Eric Baugher, who's head of winemaking at Ridge Vineyards in California, and we're just going to discuss and taste the 2011 vintage of Montebello. We are actually selling the 2011 and the 2010 at the moment, both available on Primera's Wine Futures from JN Wine.
Okay.
Eric, can you compare the two vintages? We're looking at the 2011 at the moment.
2010 and 11 were both cool growing seasons for California. Both had their challenges in ripening the crop, but at Montebello in the Santa Cruz Mountains, the weather and the climate in that location were very, very gentle and actually warm enough to ripen. So while we picked the grapes late, we picked for ripeness. The 2010, I would say, is a little bit riper than the 11 as far as the flavor profile. But I'd say yeah, I mean, they both have a drinking window of 25 to 40 years. They both have a pretty rich tannin structure. I'd say the 11, which we have here, may actually be a more classic vintage. We picked the grapes at even lower sugar levels than probably the last 10 vintages. So here we fall at about 12.8% alcohol, which is the historic average of Montebello. You know, some of the great vintages
Bordeaux, really, isn't it?
Bordeaux range of ripeness and alcohol. But yet here we have color and just this amazing aroma. So fully ripe grapes,
Very pure.
which we got with a long hang time. So most of this fruit was picked in the last week of October and into the early part of November.
And as far as the assemblage is concerned, 2010 compared to 2011?
Yeah, so 2010 vintage has about 74% Cabernet Sauvignon, 20% Merlot, and 4% Petit Verdot.
And the 2011?
The 2011, at this point of the first assemblage, where we haven't yet completed the total assemblage, this stage it's 87% Cab, 8% Merlot, and 4% Cab Franc. So Petit Verdot is the one and only grape at this point that, with the weather that we had in 11, it wasn't warm enough to ripen it.
Okay.
So we've declassified it at this point. So once I get back to the winery next week, we'll be sitting down, Paul Draper, myself, the rest of our team will be tasting this blend, and alongside it will be several glasses of some of the remaining cubes that we want to assess whether or not they can work into the blend to improve upon this. So I've got mainly at this point Cabernet Sauvignon from different areas of the vineyard that have been aging in their own barrels, and we'll add 1 to 1 glass and have a control next to it. They'll be mixed so we don't know what is what. We'll taste and see which glass we all prefer. If it's a glass that includes that addition of that Cabernet component, then we'll move on from there and try another glass. So it's a really slow process of tasting.
Great.
And what we want to arrive at is a really nice complete wine that has the really classic flavor of Montebello, good tannin structure, good aging potential, and then we'll taste it against the last 10 vintages to really make sure that this final glass really falls in line and with good consistency.